So that sparked your interest in writing. Now,
Oh
I know
yeah.
you did describe the books in which my other question, I know you have written a total of five, which is the Volonians, which is the Mysteries of the Vondercrat, which has
Hmm.
great reviews, by the way. One reviewer, like people are loving and talking about how imaginative and creative the book is. So I know
Yeah.
you did seem like you were happy about it, and people are loving it as well. A reviewer stated when they read it, it felt like they was there. That is
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
not in the real world to feel like you're in someone else's world and in someone else's experiences. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
Another
let me tell you before you get that second review, the reason why I try to create a whole alternate universe for you is because it takes you out of the mindset of if you're in a sick body, if you're in a job that you hate, if you're in a relationship that you don't like, it takes you outside of that. You know what I mean? And for that moment, you're in this just alternate universe that you just utterly adore. And that's the whole point. I'm very descriptive, very, very descriptive in writing. That's one of my favorite. One of my favorite things to do is to just open up that door where you can see every crevice, every color. You know what I mean? Every texture. I want you to feel it and see it and sense it in my writing.
And that
But
is
go
so
on.
important. That I love
Yeah,
that you do that when it comes to your writing because you want to feel it, you want to hear it, see it, you want to have the whole five senses when you're reading. So that
yeah.
is awesome that you do that in all of your books. Also, another reviewer said that this book seriously delivers everything a reader could want: action, romance, and drama. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
We like the drama.
We all love drama. We have drama in our real
Yeah,
lives and
yeah, yeah,
and also of the other books, I know you have The Awakening, which is the second
yes.
volume of Volonians. Also, Why Are Boys Afraid of the Dark? The
Oh yeah,
Bee,
that's a brand new one.
that's the brand new. That what year did that
Yeah.
come out?
I put that out beginning the beginning of this wait during the pandemic actually.
Really?
Like March. And I haven't even promoted it. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. And the reason I haven't is because the pandemic, you can't really do a lot, you know what I mean? But yeah, that one's just it's amazing. Like it's incredible. It's incredible.
Awesome, which is available on the carloshardies.com page. So if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
interested in, shop now. And also, another book was the Bilan, The Path to Redstones.
Oh my God. Okay, now I'm telling you, no, Samia, let's get her name right.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
So this interview will
But
stop. No, I'm kidding. Oh no, but so her name is Bulan, and the path to Redstones, Bulan, and let me tell you about this girl before you go on. She's a Somalian girl who is little girl. She's about six, I think six, 5 or 6, and she's every bit intelligent and smart and has this sense of self about herself. And she goes on this journey to figuring out who she really is. And of course, there's always sci-fi and fantasy elements in my books, but she goes on this beautiful journey. And the reason why I created that book is because Black women, let's be honest, we, there's no really there's no really character that resonates to me with like that I see my mom, my sister, my friends in who are women of color that have these powers and there's this ability to fight, and not only figuratively but literally fight and do their thing. And I wanted when I wrote the book Bolan, I wanted little girls to resonate with her and grow up with her, just like you grow up with Wonder Woman and you grow up with Superman and you grow up with Batman. There should be a child, a character that we grew up with as well. And I think it's very, very important to have that narrative of a person of color who's a child and they're growing up, and you're realizing who they are, and you go on their journey with them. That was the main reason why I love that. Like, if you get a chance, just read it. Like, I let some of my friends read it, and they absolutely love it. Like I said, I haven't had a chance to even promote those two. I just been, promoting other stuff and I'm gonna go on this tour, but I just like, the stories are just so enriched. They're just so rich and royal, and I can't wait to share them with people.
That's awesome. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to check out Bulan, The Path to
Yeah,
Red,
please.
because I wish
Yeah.
I had that growing up. Like you said, we just had Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, Batman. We didn't
That's it.
have a black samurai. That is beautiful.
Mhm.
That
But and also the things about those books, or not, or characters, I should say, is that, don't get me wrong, those are amazing. Wonder Woman and Black Panther and all those characters are incredible. But the one thing about those characters, comparatively to my characters, is that they were created by someone of color. Now, those characters are of color, but they wasn't created by. So, and I'm not saying you can't be a person that's not of color and create, those characters, but I'm just saying it's so much more enriched, and so, because I know the journey, I know my journey as a person of color, and I think it's so important that you can have both sides. You can have someone who's not a person of color to create, and you can have someone who's of color to create it. And I think that's so important. It's not giving it a choice, it's just having the option that is there, to be able to support something that, Nikki Giovanni have created, and then J.K. Rowling has created. You want to have that, but they're both talking about the same type of people, but you want to see what Nikki's perspective is comparatively to J.K. Rowling. And I think that's just really important, because what I know in my heart is different than what, J.K. Rowling would know in her heart about a race of people, or a gender, or whatever. It would just be a different perspective, and I think that's important to have that.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, speaking of all five of your books, which one is your favorite? It sounds like your favorite will be Bulan, The Path to Redstones, but it could be the Volonians.
Volonians, Bulan, the BG, Why Boys Afraid of Dark. I've never thought about it. I really haven't. And it's funny because this is the funny part about it. Because, a lot of people, they're like kids. Okay. I don't have kids, but they're like kids. You could just tell. They all have different personalities, different styles, different ways that they kind of evoke emotion from you. All the books are completely different. And I'm gonna lie, I equally love them all. But I think Why Boys Are Afraid of the Dark is just a thriller. It's a nail biter. Like, they all, like, one is really, like, could be a bit horrorish, like horror type fantasy. Another one could be superhero. Another one is, talked about a lot of social justice. Like, I have different themes in them all, but I'm telling you, Why Boys Are Afraid of the Dark, once I get that book out there, like, to the mainstream, it's an amazing, incredible book about these four boys who are from a small city near Michigan, and they go on this journey, and they begin to realize, who they are. It's not like superheroish or anything like that, but they begin to realize what's bothering them. There's this entity that's trying to capture them, and they don't know what this entity is. And once they find out what it is, they're like, it just all, it's like full circle. It comes to light. But it's a beautiful story because they're friends. It's like that friendship I was telling you about earlier in college that I had. When you have friends, oh my God, when you have these people who are going through that same kind of, traumatic journey with you, it becomes surreal, but at the same time, it becomes centered. And you realize, wow, wait a minute. What is this? You feel like you're in something together, and I think that Why Boys Are Afraid of Dark is just like the one that's probably I'm most emotional about. Because once you read it, you realize, okay, yeah, this is way too deep for me to be reading this, but you love it.
Interesting. It's good to go into. And I
Yeah.
do want to ask you, since you was speaking of those books, where do you get your ideas from? What is your inspiration?
Oh, Chanel, let me tell you.
Tell me, please.
Okay, so, but I'm, and I you saw what the backstory is, right? Like the series, right? So
Yeah.
in that, I try to teach people about creativity and where it comes from, and how to nurture it and massage it and push it out. But for me personally, I'm a different person when it comes to any type of releasing the creative, energy that's in me. I don't read a lot of stuff, meaning things that I write, I should say. I don't watch a lot of things um, that I write. I just don't. It's just something I just don't do. And so for me, my creativity, I ain't gonna lie to you, it comes from above. Like it just comes. It's like Bluetooth, or it's like the internet. It's all the ideas and energies that you have to write your autobiography, your fictional, your non-fictional, all that. It's there, or to create whatever it is you want to create. It's there. You just have to tap into it and pull it down. And that's what I try to do. So I don't muddy the waters by watching everything and then having my brain inundated with all this information and books and movies and this TV show, that TV show. Because then before you know it, I'm writing Scandal, and I'm writing Harry Potter, and I'm writing Matrix. You know what I mean? And for me, I don't. I stay away from that stuff. I watch some things. Don't get me wrong, because entertainment it does inspire you. But for me, I try my very best to, when I have an idea, it'll just pop in my head, which I love. I'll be in Starbucks line or driving, and the idea would just pop in my head. And what I do, and what a lot of people don't do, I write it down. Whether it's on my phone, on a piece of paper, I have a pad, I have all these ideas in it. I keep it everywhere, near my bed and everything, and I just jot. Oh, that's a good idea. Or I go on my notes on my phone and I'll just write it down there. But it's really, really important that when an idea comes, and hopefully people get this, when an idea comes, just write it down. That's your only job, because you're given the idea by the universe, God, whoever you believe in. And once you get that idea, it's up to you to push it forward. That's why it's an idea. An idea is an idea. So I guess hopefully that kind of help clears up where I get my
It's
my
very
creative
cool.
stories from.
It does. It does. And you're
Yeah,
absolutely right. It's again going back to the importance of writing is so important that if you have that spark,
yeah.
just write it down so you won't forget, because our minds are constantly going,
Going,
living in our reality. So that's also
just put
important.
it
And you
down. Yeah,
did mention what's the backstory, which is your YouTube
yeah,
channel. So I do want to
yeah.
highlight that as well, that you do have a YouTube series called What is the Backstory? So what made you want to create that segment? And also, what is your favorite video from your segment and why?
Um, Quarantine. ah, No, I'll be honest with you. Quarantine was half of it. I was like, okay, I want to do something. I want to still write. And I had just finished Why Boys Are Afraid of the Dark. I had just finished that, and I was drained mentally and emotionally by that book. So I said, I didn't want to go into another book, because I could always pivot into another book, or just kind of transfer the energy somewhere else. But I said, I was talking to one of my friends. She said, "Carl, you got all these amazing books and stories and credit. Now it's time to put it out." Because me, I'll write forever. I would literally just, if I had to, I would just write forever, just keep every day, just new book, new book. But she encouraged me to push them out. So I said, what better way to push out than to create more short stories? So I created What's the Backstory, and everything, situation, friend, family member, everybody has a story. Everybody, it doesn't matter. That homeless person on the street that you may see, or the cashier at the grocery store. Everybody has this story that either they're telling with their action, or they want to tell, or you can see the story just physically all over them. And you're just like, oh, I wonder what that story is. How did they get here? Why did they get that? But also, for me, I thought it was as equally creative to come up with a backstory. Because sometimes you don't know, and you don't want to ask anyone, like, hey, why are you asking me for money on the side of the road? What happened to you? I think that's, could be rude or intrusive. So for me, I said, what if I created a show where I created my own backstory to these situations? What would that be like? How would people perceive that? So I started with TV shows. I started with movies, and I started doing, real life situations, some celebrity, some not so celebrity. Just a lot of different things. So the latest one, now you asked me, what do I think was, one of the ones that I love? And I think I just wrote one where Martin Luther King, you remember he was assassinated.
Right.
And I wrote, I guess, an alternate ending of how it got to that point. How did he get to, who played a part in that? And so with the writing, as I try to teach on what the backstory is, I try to teach people to understand that it doesn't have to make perfect sense, because you're a writer. Writer, you can up the pen, I can erase something, I can add a character, I can kill off a character, I can do whatever you want with a pen. And it's very, very important that you write from emotion, you write from experience, you write from the lack of experience, you write from love, you write from all those places. So when I write what's the backstory and all those different backstories, I'm just writing from like the canvas is free flowing. I know where I left off. It's always, this is where I left off. This is the
Right.
story. Biggie was shot. Boom. How was he shot? What's the backstory to that? That's exciting to me.
That's
You know what I
interesting.
mean? Michael Jackson is dead in his bed, and you're just like, what happened? What's the backstory? What's the backstory that I'm creating in my mind to tell the viewer, hey, this is what I feel, this is what I'm thinking. No, you don't have to agree with it. It just it takes you down that rabbit hole of, maybe that did happen, or
It makes
maybe it
you
didn't,
think.
or maybe Carlos' ass is just crazy. you know what I mean? So it's a fun thing for me. I love. I've always said I wanted to love doing things, or to do. I want to love something, and when I tell you, I love to write. I love to create stories. I just love it so much. I
I
really do.
feel it.
Yeah.
And that's great that you love and have the confidence so it rubs off on everyone around you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
See that?
100%.
Okay, and I do want to ask you, what is the best advice you can give to upcoming writers?
Um, the best advice I can give to upcoming writers, that's really a good question. And I answered it on one of my videos. And I think the best advice I'm telling you is, and I kind of just answered it, is to just write everything you have in your brain. Pick a subject. Number one, pick up subject. Whatever the subject is, it could be your life, it could be a person, it could be a friend, it could be an event, whatever it is, because you want to write something. Whatever it is, my advice would be to just write it all down. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if it's in order. It doesn't matter if the transitional aspects of it is a disaster. The character development is a mess. Just write it down. You have to have something. You can't make something from nothing. You have to have something. So then once you have it, you can edit it. You know what I mean? You can proofread it. You can give it to someone else to proofread. You can, alter it. You can do whatever you want with it. But you have to write something down. And that goes back to the journaling that I used to do as a kid. You have to write something. And don't be afraid. My thing is, don't be afraid to get criticism for what you've written. It's okay. That's the whole point of them. You're writing for people. You're writing partially. I'm writing for myself, but then I know someone else is going to read it. So after I've written it, I know it's no longer mine. That's the one thing I understand. Just know, as a writer, once you're writing things, it's no longer yours. It's out there. The moment you hit send, or the moment you post, or the moment you put it up for sale, it's no longer yours, because people begin to own a part of that. It sits in their psyche, and they begin to own a part of the Matrix. They own a part of Fresh Prince. They own a part of, Living Single. They're like, oh my God, I know Max is my favorite. This is why. So if you do Max wrong, they're like, that no, she's my friend. No, she doesn't do that. She does this. So they become you have to not be married to your writing. That's another thing I wanted to point out. Don't be so married to it where you can't, the characters can't grow or evolve. You have to let them go. You know what I mean? You got to let them go. Like all of my books that I've written, once they get adapted to movies, and they're out there, and like I know for a fact, because there's too many other stories to write. So I'm not hell bent on, oh my God, don't mess up my story. No, I got a million stories. If I showed you my notes, you'd be like, boy, you got like 20 books. You know what I mean? I have so many stories to write, so I can't be stuck on one story. So as a writer, Do not be stuck on one story, and just know that it's not yours after you release it out to the universe. Yeah, that's that. I need some water after that.
You
I
know,
done gave you
I'm not
some
water.
tips.
You did. Myself, I know I struggled as a writer. I never knew where to begin.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. But you have to write some. You got to start somewhere. You know, the freeway leads to a lot of different places, but you have to jump on the freeway. You got to. You can't just be off the freeway talking about, yeah, I want to go to Vegas and I want to go to San Francisco and I want to go. You got to get on the freeway. You got to somehow get on the freeway, and then you begin to read the signs, and then you begin to stay in your lane, and then sometimes you go into another lane, but then you come back because you don't hit that car, and then you keep going. You know what I mean? I use a lot of analogies to get
It
just let
is
you know.
good. It
But
it
but
helps clearly. So that's
yeah, but you have to get on the freeway. You got to. There's no if you want to go somewhere. If you don't want to go anywhere, you can stay in your smaller city, your smaller town, and just be complacent. There's nothing wrong with that either. You know?
it's good to get up and just go
Yeah.
and just have um
Yeah.
that experience.
Yes, it is.
Also, so I know I heard that you are in the process of starting your a book tour. Can you tell us more?
Oh my God.
You know, I have to keep
Oh
you
my
on past
God. Let me tell you, I um I had this idea for a book tour like about 7, 8 years ago that I just want to travel the country with with the books that I'm just going to create. Like this was the inception. It was before the inception of the actual physical manifestation of the books. I was like, oh, I can go on a tour and I can do this. I can, I just had that idea, and it has come full circle because now I'm ready. I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, everything is ready to share with the world my books. So the tour, God willing, no shutdown. Ah, I'm gonna go next year. I plan on starting Black History Month, but like I said, I'm gonna wait and see in that first month, see what's going on with
Mhm.
everything with the country, and then if everything's a go, I'm going. I'm gonna be leaving Los Angeles, and I'm gonna go on this vast 10 city tour. Is what I want to go. Um, and I just want to share. I just want to share my stories. I do. I've written a lot, and I'm like, okay, let's put it out there now. Like I've done it. I've done it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm excited to bring just different stories to people. I really am. So yeah, I'll be doing that. Like I say, and I want to like I say, Black History Month is when I want to start it. The goal is to go to a lot of the Black bookstores and inspire, encourage, promote reading and promote, the idea of using your imagination and things like that. So we'll see what happens. I'm encouraged though.
I'm happy for you and I'm supportive. I think that is a great idea to get all your stories heard and just to
Yeah.
travel around. And also, I want to do a part two for your tour as well. Would you be open
Oh
to
yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah. Trust me, Chanel. You're gonna be like, what? Y'all where? Y'all doing what? Like, yeah, it's going to evolve because I'm just really, really excited about it. I'm ready to just put it all out there. Before, sometimes you withhold things and you kind of hold on to things that aren't necessarily yours. And so now I'm just ready to get out into the world and just say, okay, guys, check this out. Check that out. Like I'm ready to go. You don't understand how I'm just like I'm just ready to uproot and get out there and just share these amazing, incredible, gut-wrenching, compelling, emotional stories, but at the same time fun and imaginative stories. I'm just ready to do that. I am. I'm excited.
That,
I started counting down the days. You don't understand. I was like, okay, my birthday's here, and then I'm gonna go. Okay, okay, get past Christmas, and then okay, I gotta get past Joe Biden's his little inauguration, and then man, like I'm counting like there was like little staples, like okay, here, okay, great. I'm counting it down. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm
You'll
ready
see.
for you, and we definitely will do a part two for your tour as well. So I'm going to
Yeah.
kind of wrap this up. I know
Okay.
we have been talking a while. So There it is, folks. It was a pleasure speaking to one of the top upcoming sci-fi writers, Carlos Hardy. And don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel, which is Carlos Hardy, so you can learn about his 10 city tour. And also go to carloshardy.com to purchase one of his 5 books, which might want to purchase Bulan to the Redstones, because that's my favorite so far. Did you have anything you want to share?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I mean, I think you've said everything. And like I said, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to give us some, to allow the people to see what I'm doing. I just appreciate that. And like I said, I'm just ready to go on tour. Like, I wish if I can go today, I would go today. I'm being real. But like I said, I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much for this.
We appreciate you here at Team Tiggio as well. And keep doing what you're doing. Just keep inspiring, being creative, because that is awesome. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, and I think you're great and awesome. And we will be seeing your book soon in production. I have high hopes as well. So thank you for taking the time, and I hope to talk to you soon. See you later.
Yes, definitely 100%. You just wait. We got some good stuff coming. You just wait. It's going to be on and popping. Thank you so much. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Talk to you later.